It's news around the world, into Africa and across the nation Nigeria. You're welcome to ITVS World News. My name is Anolo Akpo Idowu. Now we kickstart with a story from Mozambique, where the Mozambican authorities are concerned over a strange disease that has killed more than 900 cattle in the country's central region since December 2023. The disease is unknown to breeders and veterinary authorities as of now. It broke out in the province of Manica, the border with Zimbabwe, and has spread to three of the province's districts. Concerned breeders are asking for an urgent response from veterinary authorities to prevent further losses amid fears that the disease could spread and kill more cattle in the future. Fernando Copenha, a breeder from the village of Manhin in the district of Manica, one of the regions most affected by the outbreak, said that the disease is mainly characterized by a loss of appetite and strength in the animals. He warns that the disease could compromise food security and livelihoods. Luis Sabonit, another farmer, has complained that provincial livestock authorities have not responded since they took blood samples from sick animals for analysis. Early last year, a rare disease caused by ticks killed close to 400 heads of cattle in the village of Chinhamduzi, a region with Zimbabwe also in Manica province. Away down from Zimbabwe to Uganda, where Ugandan security forces have blockaded the homes of prominent opposition politicians ahead of a planned protest in the capital, Kampala. Both veteran opposition leader Kizza Besigye and Bobi Wine, a former pop star whose real name is Robert Kyagulanyi, say that security forces are surrounding their homes and preventing them from leaving. Mr. Besigye also shared a post shortly after with photos showing several security officers obstructing the entrance to his home. The two government critics have asked Ugandans to go ahead with planned protests on Thursday to demand the government to fix dilapidated structures and roads. Police have vowed to block the demonstrations, saying that protests organized by the politicians have never been peaceful and will disrupt a key summit underway in the capital. Some 4,000 delegates are attending the night Non-Aligned Movement Summit in Kampala, Uganda. Away from Uganda now, again to Kenya, where three Kenyan police officers have been arrested over allegations that they were involved in the kidnapping for ransom of a Chinese national. The officers are attached to the General Service Unit, GSU, a paramilitary police wing. They are accused of ambushing the Chinese man as he drove to work on the 8th of January and cuffing him and driving him away. The officers then violently robbed the foreigner before releasing him, according to the reports of the police. Authorities are also searching for a Chinese national believed to be the leader of the kidnapping ring. The police shared on X that the mastermind called the victim's family back in China, demanding for an unestablished amount of ransom, which was wired to a bank account in China. Police say that the incident has unearthed an international criminal ring whose targets are well picked after a background check on their financial muscles. Kenyan authorities are working with Interpol to locate their accomplices in China as we speak. And in Comoros, the government of the Comoros has ordered an overnight curfew after the police and military clashed with protesters angered by the re-election of President Azali Assoumani. Opposition parties have called for the poll to be declared void, alleging fraud. Tear gas was fired and demonstrators burned tires and barricaded roads on the streets of the capital, Monrovia. Protests were also reported in other towns across the Indian Ocean archipelago. An unspecified number of people were reportedly arrested during the protest. A government spokesperson accused the opposition of disturbing public order and peace. Meanwhile, the United Nations has appealed for restraint. On Tuesday, the Electoral Commission announced that Mr. Assoumani had garnered 63% of the vote in Sunday's ballot to secure a fourth term as president. However, only 16% of the eligible voters took part in the election. Away now from the shores of Africa now to the United States, where Donald Trump's lawyers accused Jean Carroll of courting publicity on Wednesday, as she said her reputation was left shattered after accusing him of sexual assault in the 1990s. The second day of the civil defamation trial featured several fiery exchanges. At one point, the judge threatened to kick Mr. Trump out of court after he was overheard criticizing her testimony. A jury found Mr. Trump liable for sexually abusing Ms. Carroll last year, but he continues to deny the claim. He was found liable for sexual abuse and defamation, though not for rape, and Ms. Carroll was awarded $5 million. That trial was based on his 2022 remarks that her story was a con job and a hoax. The current case focuses on different remarks, which the judge has already ruled were defamatory, that Mr. Trump made while he was president in 2019, when he called our allegation totally false. But much of Wednesday's proceedings were marked by angry exchanges between Mr. Trump and the judge, who threatened to revoke the former president's right to attend trial after a lawyer for Ms. Carroll heard him call the case a witch hunt and criticized the accuser's memory within earshot of the jury. Lawyers for Ms. Carroll displayed a series of death threats, rape threats, and insults she says she has received since coming forward. Mr. Trump, who also faces 91 felony charges across 4 criminal cases this year and is awaiting judgment in the New York civil fraud trial, is currently the Republican frontrunner for presidency. On Monday, he scored a landslide victory in the Iowa caucuses, the first of the state-by-state votes in the race to become the president elected in the United States. And here is a report courtesy of 7 News.
The multi-million-dollar defamation payout, Donald Trump today wasn't giving an inch.
I frankly am the one that suffered damages. I should be given money, given damages.
Swapping the campaign trail for the courtroom again as his accuser, former journalist E. Jean Carroll, took the stand. I'm here because I was assaulted by Donald Trump, she said. He said it never happened, he lied, and he shattered my reputation.
I have no idea who the hell. She's a whack job.
It was that primetime comment last year, hours after a court ruled Trump was liable for sexually assaulting Carroll, that set off a tidal wave of online abuse and threats. I thought I was going to get shot, Carroll told the court. It's testimony Trump repeatedly interrupted today. The judge threatening at one point to kick him out. You just can't control yourself, Judge Kaplan declared. Trump firing back, you can't either.
He's a nasty judge. He's a Trump-hating guy, and it's obvious to everybody in the court.
It's a line well received here. Trump returning to New Hampshire tonight and to his position as Republican Party frontrunner.
God bless you, New Hampshire. Thank you.
In the United States, David Woywood, 7 News.
We now from the United States now to Pakistan, where Pakistan has launched missile strikes into Iran, reportedly killing 9 people after Iran carried out strikes in Pakistan late on Tuesday. Pakistan said its strikes had hit terrorist hideouts in Iran's southeastern Sistan Baluchistan province. 3 women, 2 men and 4 children were killed, according to Iran state television. The reciprocal airstrikes came as tensions in the Middle East are high, with several overlapping crises. On Thursday, Pakistan Foreign Ministry confirmed the strikes, which Iranian media said took place around the city of Sarvan. The ministry said it had acted in light of credible intelligence of impending large-scale terrorist activities and said a number of terrorists were killed. Pakistan had fiercely condemned Iran's strike on Tuesday, which struck an area of Pakistan Baluchistan province near the Iranian border and which Islamabad said killed 2 children. Iran insisted its strikes were aimed only at Jaish al-Adli, an ethnic Baluch Sunni Muslim group that had carried out attacks inside Iran and not Pakistan's citizens. Earlier in the week, Iran also targeted Iran and Iraq and Syria as well. It said it had hit Islamic State and Israel's Mossad spy agency, both of which it said had been involved in a bomb attack in the Iranian city of Kerman earlier this month, which killed 84 people. Analysts said Pakistan's response was not surprising and matched Iran's in being presented as a specific attack on insurgents. Some commentators have suggested Iran's strikes on Iraq, Syria and Pakistan this week were also driven by the current turbulent dynamics in the Middle East. And in Singapore, a Singapore cabinet minister has been charged with corruption in a rare case that has shocked the nation, which prides itself on squeaky clean governance.
Singapore's
Subramanian Iswaran pleaded not guilty to 27 charges, including obtaining gratification as a public servant. Mr. Iswaran quit his post in government on Thursday News of corruption charges has dominated headlines in Singapore's media as we speak. Charge sheets released by prosecutors revealed allegations that he was gifted more than 160,000 US dollars worth of flights, hotel stays, and Grand Prix tickets in exchange for advancing property tycoon Ong Beng Seng's business interests. He is also accused of receiving tickets to West End music house and football matches. Mr. Iswaran was put on leave of absence when he was arrested, but he was still being paid 8,500 US dollars a month. Mr. Iswaran, a veteran of the ruling People's Action Party, PAP, has been a director in several major companies throughout his career, and while in government, he held multiple portfolios in the Prime Minister's Office, Home Affairs, Communications, and most recently, the Transport Ministry. The case against him is one of a series of embarrassing political scandals that have rocked the PAP, which has long touted its strong stance against corruption and immoral behavior. Singapore PM Mr. Lee said on Thursday that he has accepted Mr. Iswaran's resignation and that his government has dealt with this case rigorously. And here is the report.
Singapore's Minister for Transport was charged with corruption on Thursday, a rare high-profile graft case in a place that prides itself on a squeaky clean government. S. Iswaran, who was arrested in July last year, is alleged to have received kickbacks valued at over $250,000 US from property tycoon Ong Beng Seng, partly to advance his business interests. Charge sheets show the favors included flights on Ong's private plane, as well as tickets to football matches, musicals, and to the Singapore Formula One Grand Prix. Iswaran was an advisor to the Grand Prix, while Ong owns the rights to the race. Ong's office did not immediately respond to requests for comment. He too was arrested in July as a part of the corruption probe, but so far has not been charged. Singapore's anti-corruption agency said Iswaran faces a total of 27 charges, including corruption and obstructing the course of justice. In his resignation letter, Iswaran rejected the charges and said he would, quote, focus on clearing his name. If convicted of corruption, he could be fined up to around 75,000 US dollars or face 7 years in prison. The case has gripped Singapore, where graft and scandals involving political leaders are rare. In 2022, Transparency International ranked the city-state the 5th least corrupt out of 180 countries. Last summer, Singapore's Prime Minister admitted his ruling party had taken a hit over the corruption investigation, as well as the recent resignations of 2 senior lawmakers over a, quote, inappropriate relationship.
And now in Ecuador, a prosecutor investigating an attack on a TV studio in Ecuador last week has been killed according to officials' report. Cesar Suarez was shot dead in the port city of Guayaquil, Guayas province, on Wednesday, according to the Attorney General. It is not clear whether Mr. Suarez's death is linked to his investigation into the TV station attack. Pictures that were broadcast live on air showed journalist Jose Luis Calderon pleaded with the gunmen while station staff were forced to sit or lie on the studio floor. One cameraman was shot in the leg, while another man's arm was broken during the attack, TC's deputy director of news said. Local media reports that Mr. Suarez was shot while driving near his office. Unverified footage of social media also shows a vehicle with bullet holes in the window. In an interview with newspaper El Universo one day before his death, Mr. Suarez said he had not been given police protection despite interrogating the 13 people arrested following the TV station attack. His killing is the latest in a surge of violent incidents across Ecuador, which has seen the escape of 2 gang leaders from prison, hundreds of prison guards taken hostage, and explosions in several cities. In response, President Daniel Noboa declared a 60-day state of emergency and ordered the military to neutralize 22 armed groups, which he redefined as terrorist organizations. And here is the report.
An Ecuadorian prosecutor who targeted transnational organized crime was killed in the coastal province of Guayas, where he worked, one of the country's most violent areas and the site of an on-air attack on a television station last week. Cesar Suarez was traveling to a court hearing when he was killed, the Council of the Judiciary said in a statement on Wednesday condemning the murder. He had been in charge of investigating the TV station attack. Ecuador has suffered a recent burst of violence across the country, including some 200 prison staff being taken hostage, explosions in several cities, and the kidnapping of police officers. In a video message after Suarez's killing, Attorney General Diana Salazar said his murder shocked us as an institution, but vowed to carry on pursuing the criminals.
I'm going to be emphatic. Organised crime groups, criminals, terrorists will not stop our commitment to Ecuadorian society. We will continue with more strength and commitment.
Salazar expressed her grief for Suarez's family and called on law enforcement to guarantee the safety of those of us who are carrying out our duties. In response to the series of violent events, last week Ecuador's President Daniel Noboa declared a 60-day state of emergency, including a nighttime curfew. He also designated 22 criminal groups as terrorist organizations.
It's news around the world, into Africa and across the nation Nigeria. You're still on to the World News on Immaculate Television. And now in the world of entertainment. American pop star Taylor Swift continues to stake her claim to be the best-selling artist of this century as she surpassed over $1 billion in music tour tickets. In an estimation released by Pollstar, Taylor Swift's Eras tour grossed over $1.04 billion in ticket sales from 60 shows in 2023, with tickets selling for an average price of $238. This is Taylor Swift becoming the first artist to surpass over $1 billion in music tour ticket sales, with Elton John's farewell tour, the second highest grossing tour with over $900 million. Taylor Swift's touring record is another landmark feat for the artist, who's leading the charts in pure record sales. She's number 21 on Billboard's Greatest Artists of All Time Hot 100 list. She's also number 16 on Chartmaster's Best-Selling Artist of All Time and the only artist from 24th century in the top 30. And in sports, pre-tournament favourites Morocco began their 2023 AFCON campaign with a convincing win over 10-man Tanzania in Group F. The Atlas Lions took the lead on the half hour when Romain Saiss bounced after Kim Ziyech's swerving free kick was pumped back into danger. Tanzania had Novatus Miroshi sent off with 20 minutes left, and Azzedine Onuai's sleek finish doubled the lead. Youssef En-Nesyri converted Achraf Hakimi's cross to round off victory. Ziyech's free kicks provided the chance for Captain Saiss to break the deadlock, and the former Chelsea winger had a calling effort parried away before the break. Tanzania, on their third appearance at the AFCON finals and still awaiting a first victory, struggled for rhythm, and their task got harder when Miroshi was dismissed. Former winners DR Congo and Zambia meet in Group F's other game on Wednesday evening, 20 o'clock GMT Greenwich Meridian time, with all four sides back in action again on Sunday. And before we end the news today, know that you can stream our live programs on digital platforms such as Limex World for iPhone users and NetNiger TV app for Android users. Once and again, thank you for joining. My name is Anulu Akpo Idowu. On behalf of the entire news production crew, as well as the executive producer of this newscast,